Well, here's another unintentionally funny example of damned if you do, damned if you don't when it comes to kowtowing to the loony left. Case in point, last weekend, Ontario Premier Doug Ford marched in the York Region Pride Parade. It's not newsworthy when an elected official marches in such parades these days, but it's practically front page news when a Ford does so, such as Premier Doug Ford or the late great Toronto Mayor Rob Ford. The Fords have long taken a pass on marching in such parades. It was their choice not to do so, and ironically, for a community that has for decades clamored for more tolerance, more acceptance, those who comprise the squeaky wheel of Club LGBT tend to be the most intolerant and unaccepting people in the room. They have routinely condemned the Fords' choice not to march as being homophobic because, hey, what else could it be, right? You know, folks, I once invited the Fords over to Casa Menzies to take in a Stanley Cup final game. They politely declined, something about having a city to run or something. Well, HE double hockey sticks to that because obviously the Fords are hockey phobic, and I will continue to say so until the Leafs win the cup. In other words, forever. Anyway, for whatever unspoken reason, Premier Ford decided to march in the York Region Pride Parade, but was he lauded by his political opponents and those in the media party? Hardly. Check out this Toronto Star article. Yep, there's Ford wearing a rainbow festooned t-shirt stating Pride in block caps. He's even wearing a rainbow colored floral necklace. What more could you ask for, right? Meanwhile, the headline states York Region Pride organizers say Doug Ford's appearance took them by surprise. Ooh, yeah, like he crashed the party uninvited or something. Well, for the Pride industry, I have this to ask. What do you want? Do you want Doug Ford to march in your parades? Or would you rather he stays home? Because for decades now, you've been screaming, why aren't the Fords marching? Why aren't the Fords marching? But when Doug shows up to a parade, these same hypocrites lament, hey, we had no idea this guy was coming. We sure didn't invite him. You know, I've heard about gender fluidity, but until now I haven't come across logic fluidity. It gets more ridiculous. There is still pressure by those in the Toronto Pride Parade demanding that Ford march in their event at month's end. But Ford says he won't do so, not until the organizing committee lifts its outrageous ban of uniformed police officers from attending. You see, folks, Black Lives Matter demands that the Toronto Pride Committee be policeophobic. And what Black Lives Matter wants, Black Lives Matter gets. But Ford's stance on this file is principled and correct. If Pride Toronto wants to ban specific municipal workers, i.e. cops, some of whom are gay themselves, by the way, then fine. But this should not be condoned by those in office. In fact, why doesn't the city take back its annual grant to Pride, a stipend that is typically more than $250,000. Oh, and bill Pride Toronto for the additional hundreds of thousands of dollars in city services the organization receives to stage its parade each year. But alas, that would require Mayor John Tory to have some testicular fortitude. Translation, yeah, I'm more hopeful the Leafs will win that aforementioned cup. Finally, I wonder if the Toronto Star, in its never-ending quest for truth and tolerance, will send its intrepid Muslim reporter, Raneem Alazi, to the Middle East so that she can dispatch stories pertaining to the number of pride parades that happen in such forward-thinking Islamic regimes as, oh, I don't know, Saudi Arabia and Iran. Oh, it would be most interesting to see Miss Alazi drape herself in the rainbow-hued pride flag to make a profound statement for LGBT rights that exist in only one neighborhood in that neck of the woods, that being, of course, the apartheid state of Israel. Hey, I truly look forward to reading such a dispatch, which, alas, has a 0.0% chance of ever being published, given that sort of story doesn't quite fit the media party narrative. So let's all go back to calling Doug Ford a homophobe when he doesn't march in a gay pride parade. And when he does march in a gay pride parade, well, let's call him a party crasher. Like I said off the top, folks, damned if you do, damned if you don't. For the Rebel.media, I'm David the Menzoid Menzies. Hey folks, do you like what you see? If so, please like and subscribe and never miss another Rebel video.